Hi, everybody. My name is Miles Wallace, and I'm with Peak Performers. We're a nonprofit staffing and recruiting agency that helps professionals with disabilities find jobs and advance their careers. And we also help clients find great talent. I'm joined today by Kathy. And Kathy, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, my name is Kathy Workman. I'm with Peak Performers and I work with the inclusion management team nationwide.
Today, we're going to be talking about quiet quitting, but I wanted to preface this with a story. So, I was taking a walk with one of my older relatives, and we're going and talking about the state of things today. And we're talking about work ethic and just work and work life in general. And she says very casually to me, well, back when I was working, we didn't really have this separation between work and life, and you just kind of did whatever you needed to do. And I was like, I respect that and I appreciate how hard that you worked, but at the same time, I feel like that ain't going to fly in 2022 and
No,
23 for that matter.
you got that right. Yeah, it's a definitely. I come from both eras, right? Like you just work hard, you push through it, and today it's definitely a different vibe. That hustle culture that they're looking for is kind of set to the side, and people are looking to really have a good work-life balance, and I can appreciate that.
And there are a couple things to note. Like this came largely from the pandemic, where all of a sudden people are taken and have to work at home. And now all of a sudden it becomes way harder to separate your work life balance because you are at home and your phone's going off all hours of the day. And it's difficult to even literally leave your office. Like, have you experienced that working from home yourself?
Oh, 100%. And my husband always says, you don't know how to turn it off, which is true. I don't. I'm getting better at that, but it's accessible, 24/7. And it's just easy to jump on and return an email or call someone. So I'm really trying to do the work-life balance and keep those office hours in check.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about quiet quitting and what is it and where did it come from exactly?
Yeah, so interesting. Quiet quitting is really just doing the minimum to satisfy your job requirements and your boss and not going above and beyond, right? And just seeking to gain a better work life balance like we all are. And it's funny, it came from a TikTok video of all things. It was a gentleman who is a career coach. He had a huge following, and of course, it exploded on TikTok. So you can thank social media for that. So, but the promise is for many workers and professionals, the idea of setting those boundaries and asserting power in the workplace is exciting. It's hopeful for them. And then we also have the continuity of the conversation so we can all understand what quiet quitting is. Because, to be honest, I didn't understand what it was until I started researching. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of people like that today.
Well, and what you mentioned there about workers having a lot more power right now, that happens during the fact that we have an acute labor shortage, and it's difficult for many companies to hire right now. So many employees feel empowered to talk about it. We used to have that hustle culture, and that's still very much a part of American culture. But now we also have this other part of it, talking about kind of doing the bare minimum. In fact, many people get upset when they hear the term quiet quitting because they feel like it's unfairly branding it. And I mean, to be fair, you are doing the minimum for your job. So you are technically satisfying the job requirements. Sometimes it's been called corporate coasting. It's also been called soft quitting. It's also been called acting your wage. And then it's actually an international sensation too. In China, they call it lying flat too. But
Really?
yeah, but it's
That's
not really a
interesting.
new thing, is it? Right? This quiet quitting.
No, not really. I mean, the pandemic really shined a light on it, right? I think the resignation. Now we're at quiet quitting. It's going to be something in the workplace, but I think that it's really beneficial for all of us, right? To kind of check our boxes with our mental health. Where are we at? Are we really doing work life balance? Do we really have awareness of what's going on, or are we just really stuck in that hustle culture, which I can definitely get there myself?
I guess the next question is a little bit more speculative, of who is it affecting? Like I've heard that Gallup estimated that 50% of people quietly quit, but in other words, 50% are people in the workplace are doing the minimum, but who is this affecting right now?
From the organizations that I talk to, it's affecting everybody corporate wide, and a lot of millennials and Gen Zs are leaning into it. So it's affecting everyone.
Is it okay for me to be upset about this as an employer? They're stealing my dollars, by not working as hard.
I think it's just, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can be upset about it, right? But it's not going to fix the problem. I think it's more of a conversation that you have with your workers and to understand what is their next, what's happening? Why are they losing interest in their jobs or their roles?
And that's something that's really important because really underlying all of this right here, when employees feel like they have to quietly quit, it is because there's a deeper level of burnout or a deeper level of job satisfaction. And people are looking for something a little bit more right now, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, they definitely are looking for a lot more, I think, work-life balance and to be more involved in organizations. I think that they feel dismissed at times. I had a girlfriend that just told me that she quit a great job, and she loved it there, but she said, I just felt like I wasn't a part of the team. And I thought that was super sad because she's had just passion for what she did.
Quiet quitting, while this may be new to us right now, this is not something that is new. It's just something that's kind of been on the back burner. And it's usually indicative of larger changes that are happening both in the workplace, but also things that are happening within your own organization. And we can take it as a bit of a wake up call. So, the final question that I would have for you is what can employers do right now to try to mitigate the effects of this cultural phenomenon?
Validate. Tell them they're doing a great job, right? Respect their time off and define realistic expectations for those roles that they're doing and their capabilities. Ask them, what do they see themselves doing? And just show compassion and empathy. I think that we forget that a lot of the times. Things come up in our life and we're like, oh, I don't know if I can take off work, right? Leave for an hour. But at the end of the day, we all have things that come up in life. So just show compassion and empathy. That's all we really want.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, Kathy. Again, this has been Miles and Kathy from Peak Performers. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Bye.